And Jennifer will give you a better look at that scene behind me here. You can see Clayton County Police and Sheriff's Office and also the Fulton County Sheriff's Office have completely shut down this stretch of Riverdale Road as they're looking for that gunman. They're also focused on this strip mall behind me here, investigating the shooting that started this whole incident this afternoon. National Safety Council points to distracted driving as one main factor for deadly crashes, with cell phones playing a role. But they also point to newer infotainment systems in some cars. After the storm left the neighborhood, people came out of their safe places to try to see how bad the damage was. At this home here, it ripped the wall completely off of a bedroom. These security videos here show 9 different break-ins. Almost every time it's a crew of 3 to 5 people using a crowbar or some device to break in, and they leave in a matter of minutes. Now, information gathered by the Atlanta City Council shows since January of 2021, there's been 40+ burglaries metro-wide at 30 different companies, and the losses now total more than $3 million. As the storm passed through the neighborhood, debris started flying everywhere, including large pieces of wood like this, which went several feet into this home. 20-year-old Angelica Green tells me she was crossing Old National Highway here at Godby Road with her boyfriend when a driver hit her and then kept on driving. She told me waking up hours later in Grady Hospital, she realized it was a miracle just to be alive, and then she learned of yet another miracle. Just to show you how short that distance is right now, I'm standing here at the corner of 10th and State Street, Georgia Tech's campus, right over my shoulder there. If we swing around right here, you can see the police car still controlling the scene here, keeping people about a block away down State Street. Good evening, I'm Joe Henke. That breaking news is at Kennesaw State University. School officials in the past hour tweeted an armed intruder was reported on campus, and anyone on campus is being asked right now to seek shelter in a secure location. New tonight, more developments in the Fulton County District Attorney's investigation of former President Donald Trump. She's requesting a special grand jury be convened, which could allow her to compel uncooperative witnesses to testify. As Doug Richards explains, it all relates to a phone call Trump made more than a year ago to the Georgia Secretary of State looking for votes to flip Georgia's election in his favor. The bus driver says during 7 years of driving with Bartow County schools, other drivers have blown past her stop sign, but never like this. Driving Bartow County School Bus 198 is routine for Shannon Banks, and on the morning of August 20th, Banks drove down Young Road to pick up 15-year-old Candace Vaughn.
As soon as I motioned her across, here I looked in this mirror, and the car was coming flying, and all I could do was honk the horn.
With her stop sign out and lights on, Banks honked the horn and Vaughn jumped as a truck blew past. Banks called her supervisors, who notified the Bartow County Sheriff's Office. It all happened in front of Vaughn's home.
It stops right there in front of my mailbox there.
As the Sheriff's Office began investigating, they showed the teen's mother the video.
And I broke down and cried, and I was thanking God that, she's okay, and God was watching over her that day, and the bus driver was responding, and she was responding to the bus driver.
Very, very close call.
The closest call ever for Banks.
But luckily, everybody was paying attention.
Today, Sheriff Clark Millsap called a press conference to honor Banks.
You went above and beyond the call when your actions prevented one of Bartow County students from being run over by a passing motorist as she boarded your bus.
Tragedy avoided, but Banks keeps replaying the near miss in her head.
I think about if I hadn't got it in time, if I'd saw her get hit, it would have been a traumatic experience for all of us.
This morning, deputies arrested 42-year-old Blake Tyson Lockwood.
You can't tell me that you didn't see that big old yellow bus there with the red signs. Everybody else stopped.
Millsap says witnesses and video helped investigators track down Lockwood and his truck. He is charged with 8 misdemeanors, including reckless driving, failure to stop for a school bus, and tampering with evidence. Now the teen's mother has a simple message for Banks.
I just want to tell her thank you for, being there and honking the horn and watching out for her.
And Shannon Banks says while drivers need to stop for school bus stop signs, she also wants students to watch their bus driver for any directions when crossing the street. The sheriff says that the truck driver is also charged with tampering with evidence after he removed his truck's tag and battery in an attempt to show the truck was never being driven. Cheryl. What? The homeowner and his wife tell me they have 4 adopted children ranging in age from 7 to 13 years old, and all of them are considered medically fragile. And if the drive leading to his home seen here, which runs through someone else's private property, that's where the crumbling part is, if it's not fixed soon, he worries first responders would not be able to get to them. The private drive to Leon Stanley's home is slowly crumbling. Water from a nearby golf course runs into a spillway and under the drive.
Yeah, the golf course is just to my left. This is the 7th hole of the golf course.
Last April, heavy rain came down, and Stanley says it flooded the spillway and turned the drive into a waterfall.
I mean, we was pretty much afraid to drive across it with the vehicle.
When the water level came down, Stanley said he noticed parts of the road washed away, and over the past year, more rain caused more of the drive to crumble. Now he is concerned for his 4 children with medical needs.
They have medical complex heart conditions, and with emergency response coming in and out of the property, that's a major concern for us right now.
County records show Stanley's property comes with an easement dating back to 1979 to use the drive, which runs through someone else's private property. And county records show the spillway is part of another easement on the property of Triple B Properties, which owns the nearby golf course in Griffin. Stanley believes more rain for flooding will turn his home into an island with no road leading to it.
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario. I mean, with the amount of rain that we've been getting here in Georgia, and it's always unpredictable, but I think this thing is slowly going to continue to chip away.
The city of Griffin today confirmed the land is all private property and a matter for property owners to resolve. Stanley says he tried talking with the golf course owner about the spillway and damage, but the owner stopped responding. Tonight, Stanley says he wants one wish granted.
Yes, usual drive with just getting access in the home, in and out, without any complications.
And Stanley tells me the last time EMTs came to his home, they refused to cross the spillway. They grabbed their equipment and walked the rest of the way to his home. I talked with the owner of the golf course as well today. He told me he would not comment on the situation without first talking with his attorney. Inside Gate City Brewing for founders Brian Borngesser and Pat Rains, their Freedom Fighter IPA is more than a beer.
On the front, we have the Freedom Fighter X, and then on the back, you can see we have some facts about ending human trafficking.
And there's also a national hotline number people can call or text for help or to report suspected trafficking.
It's a difficult topic to talk about, and so bringing awareness and just putting it out there in a way that people can talk about was a big key.
The beer came to be out of talks with the Roswell Rotary about the Rotary's ongoing efforts to end modern-day slavery. Gate City suggested making a beer to help. A short time later, Freedom Fighter joined the brewery's lineup and they began selling 6-packs, pints, and shirts. Then Delta Airlines called.
Well, we've had a couple pinch me moments since Gate City's been founded, and this was definitely one of them. Like Pat said, this was something that we didn't anticipate becoming what it's become. We did it to raise awareness for a very important issue.
Delta wanted to sell Freedom Fighter on flights as part of the airline's ongoing efforts to fight human trafficking, a huge undertaking for a fast-growing but small brewery.
We stopped everything that we were to make sure that we could take care of Delta. So there were some conversations that happened about what the volume, what their ask was going to be, what they were going to require from us, and we immediately stopped and looked at the production plan.
Gate City's founders say they have always looked for ways to give back to their community, and now they're sending their beer some 30,000 feet up on Delta flights and taking their mission of giving back to new heights.
Through Gate City Brewing Company to go and do something that like this Delta partnership, like this beer, and get it out there and the potential to save a life. I mean, it really makes you stop and think. It's a business, but it really can be more.
And for now, Gate City's beer is on select Delta domestic flights during the month of January for National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, with the sales supporting 2 Atlanta area organizations, Wellspring Living and Out of Darkness. Gate City hopes that their partnership can at least become a yearly effort to raise awareness. I'm at a Home Depot store here in Peachtree City, and here's how staff here tell me this crime usually happens. First, either an individual or a team will grab, say, power tools off the store shelves. Next, they pile them up inside of their cart. Then I'm told usually they'll come here to self-checkout, where they might ring up a few smaller items to conceal the crime, or they'll just walk straight out. The Home Depot keeps some tools behind locks or wrapped in security devices and uses cameras, but those tactics have not stopped organized theft.
We're working on a very strong strategy to what we like to refer to as harden the target against these types of folks.
Scott Glenn is the Home Depot's VP of Asset Protection. A new strategy involves putting a chip inside DeWalt and Milwaukee brand power tools. It is being tested in select stores. Similar to how gift cards need to be paid for to activate, the chip inside the tool is only activated once the tool is purchased.
Activating your product.
The tool will only turn on once the chip is activated, which only takes seconds.
Thank you for shopping at the Home Depot.
The goal is to limit crime and avoid rising prices to cover the thefts.
Theft and fraud are a pressure to those cost concerns, and we want to make sure that we don't have to do anything to affect that pricing for our customers.
Glenn says often stolen power tools end up in a few places.
After investigating, they say they found more than 100 stolen items.
First, pawn shops. Last December, Marietta police busted Pawn World, a shop suspected of trafficking stolen retail items, including brand new power tools. Then there are online marketplaces from eBay to Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and a growing list of others.
It's an easy, fast way to dispose of stolen product.
The National Retail Federation found in 2020 organized retail crime increased significantly for 31% of retailers. Now lawmakers in D.C. and at the state capitol are targeting high-volume sellers of stolen retail items. The Informed Consumers Act in the U.S. Senate would require high-volume sellers to give marketplaces bank account info, government-issued ID, working contact info, along with a business tax ID number. Georgia House Bill 327 calls for similar records and would create a new felony titled organized retail theft to assist prosecutors. The bill passed the House and is currently in the state Senate.
Within our city, it is a daily occurrence for us to have calls from those big box retailers asking for help dealing with shoplifters.
Marietta police welcome help to limit retail thefts and approve of the Home Depot's focus.
We want to lead in this space.
Glenn says if the new chip inside select power tools is successful, over time it could end up in many more electronics. As you drive around Ellerslie and the surrounding area here in Harris County, this is what you are seeing on road after road. Just large piles of old tall trees which fell down easily during yesterday's storm and in some places caused a lot of damage. Now I did talk with the fire chief for Ellerslie just up the road a short time ago. He tells me during yesterday's storm not a single person was killed or injured, but that unfortunately is where the good news ends today as the cleanup began.
Yeah, this is the front side, this is the carport. This is where, of course, the tree fell and where we can see coming through the roof.
Despite the damage for Jennifer Reed, it is a day to be thankful. Her home is surrounded by trees, and while some landed by and on her home, Jennifer and her husband survived the storm uninjured, and she is amazed her neighbors are also safe.
Because when you see the amount of devastation around the homes, all the trees down, but the homes are basically structurally, a lot of them fine, that's amazing. That's a miracle right there.
As friends and family helped clear the trees from her home's roof, she says yesterday after the storm left town, everyone started volunteering to help each other.
People were walking up the road with chainsaws and four-wheelers and golf carts and just already clearing the roads.
In neighborhoods around her house, the picture looks similar. Windows are blown out, a roof is missing from this home, and large trees took down fences. This home with a missing corner belongs to Brian Morneau.
We had a tree that fell on the corner, which is my oldest son's bedroom, and demolished that side there, and then a tree that fell in through the center of the garage here.
Morneau today is thanking volunteers from his church for helping him begin cleaning up. He will have many more days of cleaning ahead, but he is off to a fast start.
Definitely blessed that we are part of a church that had a bunch of people out here to help us, and this really strengthens the community even through all these hardships.
And while homeowners are focused on cleaning up around their houses, many of them are without power. Power crews like this one behind me have been working around the clock to hopefully solve that problem. We'll send it back to you. Fayette County High boys basketball coach Andre Flynn at practice today.
Don't ever give up. Keep working. Just got to keep working.
Echoed a few of Coach John Strickland's final words.
Said make sure the Fayette County girls and the Fayette County boys continue to stay on top. Make sure they still continue to do what they're doing. That's what he was told me on Saturday.
Coach Flynn called Strickland a colleague and mentor for many years.
Game speed. Then we're not surprised in the game.
Strickland coached the girls' basketball team to a state championship, coached football, track and field, and taught PE, while helping his students succeed on and off the field.
He'll never be forgotten. He'll never be replaced for what he's done to the Fayette County community. Like I said, he did everything. He was here all the time.
Flynn says Strickland did not let cancer stop him. 2 weeks ago, he could be found in his office finishing grades before the holiday break.
But I knew he was struggling. I knew he was in pain later on down, but he never complained.
The basketball team in June tweeting a video of Strickland, blessed and excited to get speed training from the best all-around coach in the state of Georgia, the tweet read.
He was here night in, night out, dedicated to sports, school, and getting us better as young men.
Basketball player Jacoby Coleman is also the school's starting quarterback. Strickland was the school's quarterback coach. Coleman says the news of his coach's death left him in shock.
It's just heartbreaking. Like, the Fayette County High School was known for Coach Strickland, Coach Flynn. And with one of the head pieces gone, is just irreplaceable.
Coach Flynn, though, reminding Coleman and his classmates to think about the positive.
He's no more pain. So that's how we got to look at it. That's how we got to approach it. And no more pain, and he's in a better place.
They're in disbelief because down here where I'm standing is where Leslie Reese ended up, but she started out up there on the side of I-85. Her car had broken down. She was standing on the shoulder. That's when a driver plowed into her car. Her car hit her. It sent her over the edge. She fell about 30 feet. We're told she has extensive injuries, but somehow she is expected to make a recovery.
And she remembers everything, and she's basically in disbelief that she was knocked off a bridge. She pretty much told my wife that she passed out before she hit the ground.
As a former Atlanta firefighter, Irving Reese has seen his share of roadside accidents.
She fell almost 30 feet off the bridge. The survival rate for that is not very good.
His daughter Leslie Reese, though, is beating the odds. Georgia State Patrol determined around 4 p.m. Monday the driver of a Chevy Camaro was racing another car, speeding down the interstate and weaving in and out of traffic before losing control of his car.
As soon as I told her I saw her, I heard her get hit and scream. And by the time I turned my vehicle around, I saw her on the ground.
Savannah Priestley is Leslie's best friend and roommate. She says Leslie called her from the side of 85 after her car overheated and broke down. Savannah was on her way to pick her up and was under 85 where Leslie fell to.
It's just a miracle that she actually lived through this. Like, it's not that serious to be driving this fast, especially during traffic hours.
Savannah says she tried to remain calm but began to panic. This is Leslie's car after the crash. The impact is easy to see.
She actually fell right in front of the Hero building. So it was help instantly until the ambulance came, but the ambulance came very quick, like within 5 minutes.
Leslie was rushed to Grady Hospital and after surgery today is now resting.
She's going to be in for a long recovery.
Irving says his daughter's injuries include several broken bones, but she avoided any spinal damage or internal injuries. Tonight, he has one message for the driver GSP says caused the crash.
Yeah, think about it. That's all I'm going to tell him. Think about it. You've ruined your life and you almost took my daughter's life.
The driver of that Camaro, GSP tells us, is facing a list of charges connected to that crash. As far as Leslie Reese getting out of the hospital, we're told it's still too early to put any timeline on that. Her friends and family are just praying for her recovery and surrounding her tonight with support.